Hey there, we just cruised on Mein Shiff so that you don't have to. Literally. Hello everyone, my name is Philip. This is my first ever video, and I'm sharing with you today a recent cruise experience on board the Mein Shiff 1. So Mein Shiff 1 is owned by the company called Mein Shiff, which is a German cruise operator under the umbrella of TUI. And I think TUI is fairly big in Europe. I think they own an airline, bunch of buses, travel agencies, etc. They're quite a large company insofar as travel and leisure in Europe. And I believe they're in a joint venture of some kind with Royal Caribbean, so there is a link to North America as well. But it is a German company, but we don't, wanted to try something different this time. So we saw this offer from Mein Shiff for this transatlantic cruise, 15 nights, departure from Barbados with a bunch of nice stops along the way, and an arrival in Palma de Mallorca, a Spanish island in the Mediterranean. So it was quite interesting. The price was also good, about 1,200 euros per person. That was for an inside stateroom, and it's an all-inclusive formula. So taxes are included in the price, tips are included in the price, and the beverage pack is also included in the price for everyone. So everyone on Mein Shiff has a beverage pack. So whenever you order a drink from a bar, they don't even bother to take your card and put it through the system. So it makes for very quick service when you want a drink. So let's talk about this experience as non-Germans on this operator. So we booked this cruise via the Mein Shiff website, and the Mein Shiff website is available in English and German. So right away, it gave us the impression, at least, that there would be an offer of service in English on board the vessel. We knew that it would be predominantly German, but we, by inviting international passengers to book travel, we were under the impression that there was going to be some English component to the cruise. But we were dead wrong about this. This was a cruise for Germans, 100% in German. So that caused us a number of challenges, which I'll get into later. But first, let's talk about the positives. So the cabin was fantastic. It was an inside stateroom, but very spacious, very comfortable, very clean. Lots of areas to store your clothes, etc. No fridge in the cabin. That's a particularity of Mein Shiff. They don't offer fridges in their cabin, but they do have a coffee machine in the cabin with pods, and you'd also have a jug to fill it with water. There's water dispensers on every floor. They even give you crystals to put in the water. So quite nice, very comfortable cabin. Their pool is probably the biggest pool I've ever seen on a cruise ship, and this is a cruise ship of roughly 2,700 passengers. We were maybe 2,500 on this transatlantic, but the pool was very, very large. But the particularity is that the Germans use their pool for pool activities, like swimming and doing some exercises in the pool. So no one is standing in the pool with their drink in their hand and just chilling. That doesn't happen on Mein Shiff. They also offer included in the price a sauna service. So they have these dry sauna and also these vapor saunas. Very nice, very different from what you'll find on other cruise line. Like I said, it's included in your price, but the only detail is that you're not allowed to wear a bathing suit in those saunas. They're naked. Germans do believe that the bathing suit is non hygienic in saunas, so it's not allowed. So I did take advantage a couple of times of the saunas. It was fine, but it is a little bit different for us North Americans. Like I said, everything was included in the price, so that was fantastic. Everything was clean. The staff, most of the staff knew English, and they also obviously spoke German because they're taught German by the company. But staff all around nice. Um, The venues were large and offered lots of seatings everywhere on the vessel. There was lots of seating. It was never an issue to grab a seat anywhere you went. There was no need to reserve any shows, any venues. You just show up, and so it's not a mega ship in that sense, and that was quite nice. They have a nice gymnasium, in indoor gymnasium, although the sporting in there was a little bit disorganized or not organized. Passengers kind of made up the sporting as we went along. There was no sporting team per se. At least I didn't see anyone playing that role. The casino, very, very small casino, maybe at 20 or so slot machines, and no tables, no blackjack at the table. So obviously, Mein Shiff does not rely on casino as a funding for their operation. Um, Logistics was good. It was well organized. You've got tap beer and tap wine, white wine and red wine at the buffet. So anytime you care for a drink at the buffet, you can just hop onto those taps and serve yourself. Ice cream, amazing ice cream on board that vessel. I think Germans are very keen about ice cream. Everything was included as well. They also have a fleet of bicycles, which is quite nice. I haven't seen any other cruise company do this, but they had, I don't know how many bikes, but in the hundreds, electric bikes and traditional bikes, and they would sell these itineraries or these excursions, these bike tours when we would stop for an excursion. So that was quite interesting. The itinerary was fantastic. That's what sold us to Mein Shiff in the first place. Started off in Barbados. We visited Saint Lucia, Grenada, Madeira, a wonderful island in the Atlantic, Portuguese island, before making our way through the Gibraltar Strait to Malaga, Spain, and then ended in Palma de Mallorca. So the itinerary was fantastic. No one does White Night better than Mein Shiff, in my opinion. Their White Night was quite something, quite an event. Everyone got into it. It was quite nice. They have art on board the vessel, just like most other companies, and I found that their art was a little bit different and probably even a little bit more varied or better than what you find on traditional cruising. So all of these were positives. Now let's talk about the negatives, and there are a number of them. And I've kind of grouped those into four different categories. So category number one is language, or information, or the lack thereof, because everything on that ship happens in German and in German only. That includes PA announcements from the captain, from the cruise director. That includes all signs on the vessels, all menus in restaurants. Sometimes you could, scan a QR code, get the English menu, but that wasn't through everywhere. The program, the activities, everything was exclusively in German. So, needless to say, there's a lot of information we simply didn't get, or that we weren't able to get our hands on. So that was a problem, and it's a little frustrating given that TUI and Mein Shiff have a dual version of their website, giving you the impression that there's going to be English presence or English offer of service, and there isn't. So in my view, they should completely remove the English website if they're not willing, capable to accommodate international travelers. But that's not what they're currently doing. Now let's talk about the food. Okay, so very few international offers. I didn't see a single slice of pizza on board that vessel. I didn't see much Indian cuisine, Thai cuisine, Italian cuisine, lots of German cuisine, lots of repetitive stuff. That's mostly at the buffet. I'm talking about now. The dining room was just a complete disaster. We went there evening one, and we left after nearly 3 hours and didn't yet have our main course. And we later found out that it's okay and it's normal. on Mein Shiff to sit down to have for your sit down dinner to last over 3 hours. Mind you, there's only just one show at the theater per evening, so they're expecting that folks that are sitting down for dinner have plenty of time, and we just at some point we just couldn't take it anymore, so we left and we didn't actually go back to the dining room. So it was a freestyle sort of dining, so you arrive pretty much when you want, get seated, by the staff, and so you never have the same staff twice. So yeah, a little bit problematic insofar as the food. No thematic offerings. Sometimes you'd find, Monday it's going to be a special Caribbean special. Tuesday it's going to be something else. None of that that we've witnessed. And the third point that was quite lacking is in the area of entertainment. So the shows at the theaters were mediocre at best. They seem to be without any form of artistic direction. I think you can see better shows at your local high school. Um, Obviously, Mein Shiff does not invest or have a great deal of infrastructure to develop artists and shows, and you could see that. And the dialogue, whenever there is dialogue, it's all in German, so if you don't know the language, you're going to be missing out. Very little offering in terms of live music. It took us, I think, a couple of days before we saw, for the first time, someone playing the guitar and singing. I think they had a duo. They had a solo guy, jack of all trades, playing the guitar and singing all sorts of songs, and a band, like a four-member band, and that was it for a vessel this size. I mean, it's not sufficient if you compare to what the American companies and MSC and others are offering. So in that area, it was quite it was quite sad. There's no entertainment at the pool area or anyone else. It seems like they don't have an entertainment team on board the vessels organizing activities, like a volleyball match against the crew or something to that effect. We saw none of that. And amongst the fourth and other categories of things that were a little bit surprising, um, your TV in your room is going to be mostly in German, some English shows, but not many. The muster drill is old style. You've got to report to a station. We had a hard time actually getting the muster drill in English. The theaters without alcohol. The app is difficult to use. It's clunky. It sometimes reverts back to German, even if you're in English. No organized sports, as I mentioned, and no trivia of any kind. Plenty of workshops, though, but all in German, and plenty of tasting happening. Like whether it be wine tasting, beer tasting, whiskey, rum, all of that. Yet there's an extra fee, and all of it was in German as well. So, would we do Mein Shiff again? No, not now and not medium term, i.e., until this company demonstrates that they are willing and able to accommodate the international crowd. We won't be doing that again. It's sad because, as Canadians and other Canadians listening to this video or watching this video will understand that we are looking for non-U.S. offers of all sorts, whether that be in any activity of life, including travel. And this seemed like a pretty reasonable one, but it turns out that it's ill adapted to non-Germans, and it's simply not something that we would want to repeat, at least not at this time. So, I welcome your comments and questions in the comment section. I'll answer those as they come along. I could invite you to subscribe, but there's just one video on the channel, so be my guest if you want to. I'll probably add some as I go along, but for now, this is my offering. So that's it. Thank you very much. Bye.